Hi, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for June 2020. I have decided, I made the announcement, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago in the newsletter. I'm going to put up the 12 readings on the channel for the time being. But I will also be providing additional content on the website for you website users. So, we're going to get into the reading. I have already done some meditation and shuffling on your sign and your glyph. I have a new laptop, so there's a learning curve here, and I'm not exactly sure, how great. The picture's a whole lot better, I can tell you that. It's a MacBook. Finally, I broke down and got one. So, it's the MacBook Pro. This damn thing costs more than my car. I paid cash for my car, but this was crazy. So it's almost $3,000. That's a lot of money for a machine that I can't drive. I can't go nowhere with, right? So I'm gonna lower this screen, and hopefully you're gonna be able to see the cards, and then we're gonna get directly into the reading. So just bear with me 1 second because I'm using the actual FaceTime camera. Okay, so here we go. I have with me also the La Vida Sibila. And depending on what the cards you're talking about will determine whether or not I will pull an angel answer or a romance angel. I may pull both, but most definitely we'll wrap the reading up with the Golden Nostradamus card. So here we are, 9 cards down. The 6 of Swords. I don't know if you can see that. The 9 of Wands. The reverse 8 of Swords. Well, looks like some of you either tried to get away from something or mentally move away from something. And looks like you jumped from the fire into the from the frying pan into the fire. Let's just see. 2 of Swords. Well, that makes sense. The 5 of Wands. Yep, something come back around. Some kind of dispute or fight or something. Okay. Knight of Wands. Nine of Cups. So now I have 2 9s, which either speak to possibility of change of address or house move. But also that one of you needs to spend more time alone. 7 of Pentacles. Now let's see what falls in this position, shall we? The Ace of Cups. Well, isn't that a funny reading? And there are no major arcana cards here. There's 1, 2, 3 swords, 1, 2, 3 wands, 2 cups, and a pentacle. Isn't that interesting? What's under the deck? The 8 of Wands. Well, now, typically the 8 of Wands, and this is either going to be the situation as it is now, or it's going to be our advice card. And the 8 of Wands speaks to the energy of Mercury and Sagittarius. Okay, so this usually relates to either traveling long distances, usually by taking a plane, but also messages that come from afar. All right, whatever this thing is, the implication is that it happens fast, or there's this energy of quick, hurry up, veep, okay, with it. So I have simply one, what do you call it? Court card, which is this Knight of Wands. And he's writing somewhat back from the future into the past. Past, present, future, past, present, future, interplay of the cards. I think that some of you either went on a trip, literally, You went someplace. Maybe you went someplace to get away from, you know, something that was bothering you. You didn't have any idea how that was going to play out. You didn't have any information. You just had to go, right? And for some of you, it seems that maybe once you arrived, when you got there, it was everything you thought it would be. But that doesn't explain these cards here. And what I think is going on here is this idea that once you arrived to wherever you were going, things cropped up. Well, and we know that this happens. We can, what do they say? The best laid plans. So I'm going to take a look. I want to see what this reversed Nine of Wands and this reversed Eight of Swords is trying to tell me. There's my book that I finally got part of it together. There are no major arcana cards, so whatever this thing is, it is something that is happening in the here and now. There are no necessarily spiritual lessons to learn. I just think it's something that you have to go through for the moment. And sometimes that's just the way it is. We just got to go through crap. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. The reverse nine of, it means obstacles and adversity, calamity, a lack of initiative, confusion, failure, conflict, reluctance, stubbornness, and defensiveness. Reversed, it tells that something negative from the past is holding you back today. See, that was you trying to get away from it. And sometimes this can be the idea of running away from things, or trying to, what's that phrase, not let it touch you. And this could sometimes be the idea of be careful what you wish for, because we see this, whatever this thing is, cropping up. This card appearing reverse says that it undermines attempts to progress, and you are asked to let the past go and to look to tomorrow with renewed optimism. It tells of acting in a stubborn and or defensive manner. You are asked to lower your defenses and take a second look at the issue. It is asking you not to lose faith. You will need to be strong at this time in order to deal with future complications. Now, Sagittarius can be that sign that about philosophy and religion, but faith, okay? But it can also be judgmental and rather dogmatic. It says that the long-term outlook is very positive, so stay on course and keep a positive attitude. It informs you that you are not applying yourself fully and are lacking initiative. A lack of forward planning will leave you vulnerable to misunderstandings, delays, and delays with projects are likely to occur. To avoid this situation, be precise about your goals. Gather all the necessary and relevant information and use them to reach and attain your goals. Do not take on more than you can deal with. It indicates that proper preparation has not been put in place and plans need to be reviewed. It is imperative that you stand by your own belief set and follow through with your own plans. It is telling you to review all plans, as if you allow things to go ahead, you will find mishaps and obstacles along the way, and this will hinder your progress. And I think, in a sense, this is what this is. You just went somewhere or started on something or tried to leave something behind without any real proper planning. You didn't have enough information. And I think you knew you didn't have enough information. It tells of feeling defensive, unburdened, and depressed. This needs to be seen to quickly. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes situations call us to move, quickly and in a hurry. And we just have to kind of hit the ground running when we get there. Does that make any sense? We ain't got no plans. You know what I mean? We just got to get there. And sometimes those, life happens. Situations are like that. We just have to do what we have to do. Now, the reverse Eight of Swords. The key words are disquiet, difficulty, opposition, treachery, and hopelessness. Appearing reverse, it tells that you may be feeling weighed down by the confines of your situation and unable to see any reason to be hopeful at this time. You are encouraged to stay strong and attempt to fight for your liberty. It warns of mishaps and accidents both in and around the home as well as out on the roads. So take extra special care and try to preempt other drivers' actions if you can. the next 8 weeks is highlighted in this respect. So obviously there's some kind of travel here. And it may be something that maybe you needed to get away. You know what I mean? But there's something you're not saying about this situation. And if you're already in the midst of this situation, do be careful, okay? Reverse, it may be indicating that a new beginning or new start can be made at this time. It is most conducive to taking leaps and bounds in the right direction. It may be indicating that pressure has been released and you are now ready to move forward. In quick time, you will be able to get on with more positive actions as there will be more freedom of thought and activity. It implies that one is being restrained or held back in certain areas of their life. It can suggest that an uncomfortable or unsavory situation is caused by familiarity. It is easier to stay in a familiar situation rather than step out into the unknown, even if the unknown may be more satisfactory. It indicates one who is confused, disillusioned, or emotionally hurt. Stress, worry, and tension are also indicated, which does not allow for clear thinking or positive attitude. Long-term restrictions, obstacles, and hindrances may be indicated when this card appears reversed. It tells of struggle, loneliness, and wasted energies. It tells of pressures being released and a turning around of a situation. More freedom of thought and activity is available as there is a relaxation of all fears and tensions. The way is now clear to forge ahead unhindered. It tells of strong feelings of being cornered or fenced into a situation or being held back from your path. And this situation will hold you at a standstill for a short time. Things will not get any worse if some small but pertinent changes are initiated now to ensure positive developments in the near future. And I think this is for some of you, not all of you. But here's this reverse Seven of Pentacles. Anxiety, impatience, disappointments, concerns regarding financial aspects, stress, nervousness, delays, and postponements. It tells of more money going out than what is coming in at this time, and I think everybody's got that going on, right? It may be foretelling of a delay or postponement in an enterprise or the loss of a promising fulfillment of a goal or achievement. It may be warning of a cause for worry or concern over money and financial issues. There has been some unprofitable speculations in regards to financial or business matters, and things have not been as profitable for you as you would have liked. It may be telling of a feeling of self-pity and feeling sorry for yourself, undue stress and worry, and the inability to carry on in life. It asks you not to make any rash or hasty decisions pertaining to business or finances. Impatience can ruin everything. To act in haste without taking appropriate time to consider all options will ultimately lead to failure. Do not take financial risks at this time. It tells of a lack of energy and enthusiasm, a heavy, burdensome workload, and depressive negative emotions. It indicates a feeling of anxiety and depression, more than likely to do with finances or the lack thereof. It tells that a friend or family member may approach you in an effort to gain a loan or to request financial assistance. You should use discernment and not concede if there is a concern about debts and repayments becoming a financial burden. It may be indicating that you have resigned yourself to the fact that a project you may have been involved with will be non-profitable. It may also be that a lack of vision is limiting your success. With renewed enthusiasm and hard work, the venture could be much more profitable than first expected. The message of the Seven of Pentacles reverse is to stay as patient as you possibly can, as impatience and rushing things can ruin your plans. Do not make any rash decisions at this time. It also asks you to think very carefully before making any major choices or changes. That's what it says. Now, I have seen this, there's wands and swords. So this is, to me, speaks to some kind of conflict between either what you are doing or the way in which you are doing it versus how you are thinking about it or not thinking about it, right? And what we're trying to arrive at is this. And that Nine of Cups can be funny sometimes. Let me go back and see if I can find something for you quickly about the Nine of Cups. It can be a funny card. So there's the 7, there's the 9. Here's what I think it's talking about. It suggests that your success will depend upon your motivation and enthusiasm. You are asked to allow old conditions and outmoded ideas to transform into new ones. To me, that's what that's talking about. Now, for some of you, this may go back to perhaps near the last week of March. And I just think that whatever this thing is, I'm gonna do what I think what stands out the most to me is this Knight of Wands, because for some of you it looks as though the message or the news, this move, whatever accompanies this, comes, and it kind of like is an answer to a prayer, right? For others of you, he's coming in, and there's some competition or fights or arguments or a clash of wills, as it were, coming in that you guys don't see yet. You haven't given it great thought. But then here, to me, it speaks to the idea that even though you may feel cornered and you can't get out of the situation, because obviously it's not going to be this for everybody, it will move in quick time, and you're going to be able to release whatever these things are. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at this Knight of Wands, because I think this is the important factor. Typically, Knights represent people, so this could be somebody coming in with some news or information that may help you, but they may come in with some news and information and try to convince you to jump on it real quick, and you may not want to do that. You might want to give it some thought, if you can. I will tell you that Mercury will be going retrograde here in a couple of weeks. So before you make a move, do all of the research, double check your facts and figures, read the fine print, all of that stuff. But for me, the Knights always represent some kind of event, but that event is precipitated by news coming in. So if a situation has gone reversed or stagnant, this Knight rides in to change the energy around it. Okay, so let's take a look at what the Knight is saying or doing. The Militare, Vecchia Signora, and Dinari. Now, that could be the idea about that relative coming in, but maybe instead of asking you for money, maybe they might be offering you a hand. But you know that sometimes even with our relatives, when they offer us a hand, it comes with all kinds of conditions that we may not foresee, right? I'm going to look at this Two of Swords. The Gran Signore, the man of property and business. Oh, dilettanti. Well, momentary insanity. Hold on. And the Limoneo. Well, isn't that interesting? Let's take a look at this reverse Seven of Pentacles, because it's this row, the possible present conditions. Some of you might be in the middle of this right now. I would dare say that I think it like I said, for some of you it started back around the 22nd of March. Some of you may be in the middle. The rest of you, this is going to be coming up. Timing is relative in the tarot. L'amica, there's the friend. Superbia, which next to the Fortuna card is the most positive card in the Sibilla. And there's the Domestico. Now that's interesting, because he can be kind of a shady character. Okay, Let me read to you. This card basically can speak to either someone who comes in to help you, but sometimes it can also just indicate that you're going to need the strength and the to fight this, and that you have the strength to overcome this thing. Okay. Um, to me, this reads like some kind of basic financial situation. It is this dileranti and the domestico that stand out the most to me. So the dileranti is a coins card. It is the nine of diamonds and a very, very negative card. If it's speaking about a person, it describes someone who is irrational and who's given sway to their emotions and moods. The person has lost all rational perspective and is mentally confused, although most of the time they don't even realize it. This is a person who at best is unreliable, has unrealistic ambitions and ideas, and at worst, pathological. It can describe someone who believes in false ideas and or doctrines that will ultimately cause their downfall. It is a card that can indicate someone being swayed by other equally deluded people, as the idea of plurality is represented by the card. Okay? It can indicate someone who's veered off their life purpose and has chosen a path to perdition. It can be associated with somebody who hangs with a group of with peer pressure, that you're being negatively affected, or is associated with the idea or the concept of keeping bad company and taking bad advice and hanging around bad people. It can usually be associated with large gatherings of people where trouble is to be expected. This can be rallies, protests, and rave parties. It indicates hallucinations, contradictions, and illusions of self-grandeur and self-exaltation. Generally, it can describe setbacks, delays, accidents, recklessness, disorganization, opposition, mutually exclusive beliefs, precarious conditions, and transitory state. It heralds complications of all kinds and the worsening of the situation inquired about, as well as arguments and confusion. It heralds problems and trouble on all fronts, grave arguments and falling outs with clients, partners, and family members. And it warns of foolish decisions and dangerous situations caused by someone's lack of self-control. Now, let me see if there's other nines in here. No. Because what they're saying was it could also describe somebody who has an addiction problem, even though that is not one of the traditional meanings of the cards. It can also indicate illegal and confusing situations. Okay? Whatever this thing is, it is about some kind of contractual issue. Okay? Some kind of contractual issue. That's what this card shows up in the wands and not the suit of hearts. Okay? Because what it speaks about is the ability to commit to something, right? Two or more people actually committing to something, kind of making it public and saying, yes, this is what we're going to do. Okay? Maybe this is just the idea of, nobody can determine what the best way to move forward is. But now this is an interesting set of cards because we have the Lamika, and basically she's going to be a friend, okay? Somebody that you know who is either going to be able to help you in a financial sense, or she's going to introduce you to someone who can help you, okay? She's neither positive nor negative. She's kind of a neutral card. This, however, is a good card. And I want you to be careful, as I say, if you can, because there's something about this domestico. Now, this card represents a solemn vow, usually other than marriage, as represented by this card. Okay? In business, it represents prosperity, good fortune, fame, recognition, success, career, or social advancement. Now, in love, it can represent a conquest, happiness, and a lasting union. It can also indicate celebrity and a person known by his or her reputation, being in the public eye. It is a card that also represents beauty and good looks. It marks a period of good luck and success of the matter inquired about. It represents joy, happiness, and positive new encounters with people. It also has a mild connection to vanity and the love of luxury, spending money on one's appearance. It may mark a person who is overly concerned with his or her look and social status, or a person who is a bit standoffish, but that's a very mild meaning of the card. This is what I'm kind of, and again, it's a wand. These are all wands cards. Now, let's get to and he's the jack of, like the jack or the page. It represents a younger man, somebody already known to you. The person can be a brother, a friend, a cousin, a colleague. Usually dark haired, but not always, and no older than 30 years of age. When positive cards are found, it says that the person is humble, reliable, and virtuous, someone who genuinely wants to help. Allegorically, it can simply represent circumstances that will unfold to help you, or simply the concept of help. Usually the card centers around domestic matters. Okay? In financial matters, this represents manual labor, hard work, unskilled labor, a low-paying job, or a position of subordination. In this case, it can be a good career, but the person is subordinate to another. It usually represents someone at the bottom of the social ladder. In investments, it represents a bad investment that will yield few or no dividends. That's all it says. Whatever this thing is, we do see this card. This is not only the card of safety and security, but it can also represent old documents and papers. See, locked up in there. You can see all of those things. Okay? So this could also be like a detective kind of a guy, all right? Or a lawyer of some kind who is really good at what he does. So whatever this thing is, it involves, I think there's an unforeseen event that crops up concerning this person. Somebody you may not realize might be trying to maybe pull the wool over your eyes. Maybe not necessarily in a nefarious kind of way, but simply because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They've got an over-exaggerated sense of self, and could lead you into some kind of serious financial trouble or illegalities. So I do want you to be careful. What we're going to do, and I do feel this is associated either with a move or it is associated with some kind of business trip. So let's, it doesn't mean that you can't get it right, okay? And if this is the idea of somebody swindling you, I do think you're going to have somebody who's going to kind of step in to help you. But again, check the fine print. All right, let's pull one angel answer card. And then I'm going to pull a Golden Nostradamus. Here we go. Compromise. Now, why are we being asked to compromise? There's obviously some kind of financial component to this. I have seen that Seven of Pentacles reverse show up when you don't feel like you're getting the pay or the recognition that's due to you, okay? Or that you've been working on something for a long time and you ain't seen the results yet. So maybe, you might have to compromise in order to end up getting what you want. This card is not always about a new romance. It's about the possibility of new partnerships and new financial opportunities as well. Yeah? Okay, so here we go. One question for the Golden Nostradamus to see if he can see something that we or I cannot. If I'm not mistaken, that's Cupid. That's interesting. So compromise. Cupid can be, the energy of Cupid is the idea of some kind of sudden attraction to something or sudden passion to something. This could be like you see an apartment that you want and you just got to have it, right? It could also be related to a personal relationship. Um, but it burns hot and fast. And you have to remember too, if you know, if you've been utilizing your Roman God book, then you would know that Cupid ended up shooting himself and injuring himself due to his passion. So there's kind of that cautionary tale to be careful. I mean, normally he's depicted as shooting arrows blindly. So you do want to be careful when you're firing off those arrows, because you don't want to end up injuring yourself. So we will look at the compromise card, and it says, in order to create a happy outcome for this situation, you will find it necessary to compromise. Allow yourself some time to become clear about what you want, what is truly important to you. Also, take note of matters where you would be open to changing your position and work toward an agreement where everyone wins. Be open to cooperation that would allow you to get what you want or what you need, while also assisting others in fulfilling their desires. Be objective about finding a balance between respecting everyone else's viewpoints and still being true to your own. And that could kind of be what this is. Maybe you are being a bit stubborn and you feeling kind of hemmed in. But if you'll stop maybe and think about it, you might be able to come up with something where it's a win-win situation. And the truth about negotiation is, if you go into negotiation and both sides come out and feel like they didn't get what they want, then that's a good deal. Okay, I know that may seem counterintuitive, but that's the way it works. All right, so let's take a look at this. If everybody, both sides walk away and nobody feels like they really got what they wanted, that's a good deal. All right, so Cupid, no matter how strong the force of reason, it is worth naught when love is in season. Now, this says love is on its way, and with it, passion, or the transformation of negative passions into positive ones. Potential transformation of hopes into love that you could bring into your life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a romantic relationship. It very well could be. But if nothing else, this to me just can speak about the passion of doing something new that you love, right? Something that emotionally fulfills you, or at least gives you an emotional restart. Does that make any sense? All right, that's what I have for you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for June. I hope those messages help. And until next time, namaste. I gotta find my thing because I don't know how to turn none of this off. All right, bye.